Today's episode is brought to you by Munchie Mug, the world's #1 premium no-spill snack cup. Listen to today's episode for a special offer from Munchie Mug. Munchie Mug, making your life less messy. Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Make Me Come Back There. We are a funny podcast about family. My name is Dustin Nickerson. I'm a stand-up comedian and the host of the aforementioned podcast. And alongside me on the due south wall of our recording studio / bedroom is my lovely wife, Melissa Nickerson.
Hi there. Oh, stop it. Stop it.
What? I didn't say anything appropriate. I said with a Everybody, welcome to our little podcast that could. We thank you so much, backseaters, for tuning in on this Wednesday or Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, whenever you listen to the COD podcast, the CODcast. CODcast is it's a
branch of Comcast.
Yes, it actually is two ones. One, it is an off-brand cable. CODcast is. It's not great. The customer service is somehow worse.
Yeah.
But it is, they pay you. And CODpast is actually, it's an adhesive. CODpast is a black market glue.
A gorilla glue.
Of sorts. The problem is it's made from real gorillas. And so they took the theme of gorilla glue and they're like, but we could make it actual gorilla strength. And CODpast is, I mean, honestly,
it works.
You could roof with it. I mean, it is strong. But you cannot breathe in too much of it. You can only use it outdoors.
Lethal.
It is lethal. It is illegal in all the states and the majority of countries, with the exception of Canada, which is surprising because they have neutralized it. So today's sponsor is cod paste. Welcome to our little podcast that could, ladies and gentlemen. That's how we start. If you're new here, if this is your first time, that's actually how we start every podcast. We try and just go on a really absurdist route there. Thank you guys for tuning in. It really means a lot to us. We are here. It is a Sunday. It is the same Sunday that we recorded our last episode, but it's not in your life. There's no way. I mean, I guess it is. I guess you could have listened to these back to back. And if you are listening to these back to back, and then you are actually getting the most accurate kind of...
it's like a sequel.
Yeah. Just one right after the other. And I will let you know, in the 10 minutes that we took a break, we bought Claire Fortnite skin. We very firmly told the children to go do their chores, cat litter, trashes, laundry, pack, because we leave for a trip tomorrow, which we're going to get into here in a bit. And I peed twice.
There you go.
What about you? What'd you do during the break?
I grabbed some more laundry.
You get some laundry? You put out some crackers for Claire?
Snacks out for Claire. Yeah.
Riveting stuff here in the Nickerson household.
So just play by play.
You know what they call this in the podcast business, Melissa, when you do multiple over and over?
Stacking them?
Banking them. Very close.
Oh, okay.
Very close.
Okay.
If we're ever going to be respected as a podcast in this podcast world.
No, you used to bank them when you did interview-based.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Back
old
in the
days of
days.
scheduling guests. I miss that. I don't.
No.
Guys, we've got a lot of stuff to get to. We're going to talk about road trip, vacation planning, prep. You know, we're going to talk about more about kind of our flooring debacle and how we lived out of a hotel for a week. I'm going to give you a we want to do like a little how to have a fun day in your own town. Because, well, at least we're just going to tell the story of how we did it. We have a couple emails to get to. And then around 45 to 55 minutes, we'll be done. Our time here together will be done.
All right.
And then we will go pack so much. And I think I'll take Claire on a scooter ride. I mean, this is just a weekend in the life. These leisurely Sunday afternoons that we are known for here.
Not true.
Let's see here. This is coming out Wednesday, the 20th or something like that.
Yeah, I just pulled up my calendar.
So I just want to say a special thank you to the San Francisco and Huntsville. You guys crushed it. So good. Oh my gosh. San Francisco Punchline, legendary comedy room. You guys, we sold more tickets there than I've ever sold before. Fingers crossed.
Okay, this is a future
you were
projection.
Great. Oh, we loved you. It was powerful energy. That moment. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. I mean, I've never had anything like that happen before at a live show.
Right.
Never before. I mean...
That's the power of live performance.
So I won't even retell the story here on the podcast because I couldn't capture the moment. I just need you guys to know that you have to come to live shows because moments like that happened July 13th at the Punchline in downtown San Francisco. That's why you do live comedy. That's why you come to live comedy shows. Also, Huntsville. Thank you. Huntsville's great. We're all going to be there. We're going to have a good time.
And we've got Nashville on the 23rd.
Yeah, we have so many shows coming up, and I'm going to hit them real quick here, and I'm going to mess up the dates because that's what I do. It's actually not it's not as easy as it seems. July 23rd, Nashville. Get your tickets for that. They might be sold out. I don't know. July 29th and 30th, Appleton, Wisconsin. July 31st, Phoenix, Arizona. Yes, I'm going from Wisconsin to Arizona in a day.
Fun.
You're welcome. Then we get into August, Sacramento on the 11th, Bakersfield on the 13th, Oxnard the 14th, Irvine the 17th, Seattle the 26th and the 27th, Spokane the 28th. Guys, this is a good example of when I come to your town, you're like, what's going on? And you want to, if I were friends or if you're a fan, you're like, oh, let's get a drink or get a lunch or hang out. Look at my schedule, you guys. I'm not there. I'm gone. I'm gone before you know it. Sometimes I'm there for like a weekend and maybe, but I am in and out. I'll get another example of that here coming up. Ready? On the 31st, I'm in Raleigh. And then the next day, on September 1st, I go to Charlotte. The 2nd and 3rd, I go to Indianapolis. That's not close. No. And then the 4th, Kansas City. Boom. Next weekend, September 9th and 10th, Salt Lake City. Then the following weekend, this is one of the crazier ones I've ever done, actually. I admit, and this only works because they're Delta hubs. September 16th, Atlanta. September 17th, Minneapolis. 2 shows there. First one's already sold out. And September 18th, Portland. Yes.
Whew.
Georgia, Minneapolis, Portland.
1 weekend. Wow.
The 25th of September, Louisville. The 29th, Houston. The 30th and October 1st, Austin. October 2nd, we just added Dallas at the Addison Improv. We also just added On Sale Now in Detroit/Royal Oak, October 14th and 15th. October 19th, Philly. And October 28th and 29th, St. Louis, Missouri. We have one more city we might add. I don't think I've even told you this yet, but I'm not going to tell them.
I think I know what it is.
You snooping?
No, you told me.
What did I tell you?
You told me.
It's not L.A.
I know.
You were Snoops.
No.
Oh, you were
You told me.
Snoops.
You told me. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Okay. I got your hint.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you turn the podcast off real quick and Alicia Keys is on the radio?
No, I couldn't remember. Okay.
I don't know if it's going to happen, but we're going to try.
Okay. Awesome.
Moving and shaking, ladies and gentlemen.
If you like riddles.
I don't know.
You just had one.
I don't know if people like when I get, I do a little silly, the hour is getting fun. It's, let's talk a little bit of my creative process right here.
Let's do it.
It's so pretentious to say.
No, it's not.
It feels this way.
But it is. It's pretentious to tell the internet, I'm writing my hour.
Right.
But you literally are.
Yeah, you really are. It isn't pretentious. It's telling them. Bands do it all the time. They go, we're in the studio. Okay,
working on a song.
Let me just lay this out for you folks right here. Okay, so in the fall of 2020, September, we recorded Overwhelmed. It released on Thanksgiving 2020. For 18 people in an abandoned lot, which it was actually really nice. It was Transit Studios. One of the highest reviewed specials on Amazon. It's doing okay, and it's on YouTube now. So then you go, that was like the first hour that I've ever done recorded, right? And you go, well, these are all the bits I've ever written. And so I'm very proud. If I were just thinking about Overwhelmed, I'm thinking I'm very proud of a lot of those bits. But as like an hour, it was more kind of chopped up, right? And and you find themes throughout it. But it was more just these are the best bits I've built in my first 8 to 9 years of comedy.
And a lot of people weren't performing during the pandemic. You were performing backyards.
Yeah. When I talked to people about it, I was
so they weren't sharp.
Yeah, I was talking to Transit a little bit when I was there last week doing Keep Your Distance, and I was thinking about how it's a time capsule, and that's what I like about that special a lot. Is like this was
starts with the temperature checks.
Yeah, this was a moment in time, is what this special was. It was released in the fall of 2020. Since then, I have mostly been doing local spots in San Diego and LA and touring with Taylor and Nate. I've been in a support role for the year and a half since then. And I've been writing new material, some of which I post, some of which I don't. and then piecing that all together into this new hour. And here in the spring, kind of late spring, early June, I was doing 20, 25 minutes, sometimes 30-minute sets with Tay, and then it was like, hey, I got to go hammer this out and make this the next hour. And, you know, when the recording details and stuff, that'll come out. But all that to say, it's very fun because you're always still writing new jokes. You come up with new ideas. Yeah. When you told me, I don't even remember where it was on the way to the club a couple weeks ago, and you're like, this isn't not a good pee outfit. I was like, well, that's hilarious. That's a bit. I've never even thought about
drop. Yeah.
How much more difficult it is to be female. Woke alert. Jeez, this guy pandering over here.
Mansplaining.
It is funny because I said that a bit and I go, it is so much harder to be a woman than a man. And then half the crowd's like, that's right. And then there's always a chunk of the crowd's like, this guy. This guy. And then when I explained that you were wearing your little, you know,
romper.
Oshkosh. You're a onesie. I got to come up with You're essentially you're essentially in an astronaut suit.
Overalls, coveralls.
Yeah.
Sometimes they call them boiler suits.
You're essentially in a costume.
Rosie Riveter.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyways, it's very fun, and it has some really silly moments in it right now, which I really like. And one of them I do, which my favorite thing to do, which I only do on this podcast really, is sing ridiculous lyrics. Like, that's very fun for me to do. And I do it right now when I do the Proud to be an American. And then the second part, I just do that. Yeah. It's my favorite moment every night.
Amazing.
It's so stupid. And it gets a laugh, but not as much as I like.
That's just for you.
And then if I really like the crowd, I'll start the next part of it. It's just fun. It's very silly. Anyways, that's my creative process, ladies and gentlemen. I am an author too. Please check out How to Be Married to Melissa. Honestly, guys, please buy that book. We need to sell copies. It's not doing bad. It's not doing bad. I don't want you guys to think that, but I do know that I need you guys to listen to buy it. Podcast listeners. Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, I have a review for that book that I wanted to read you guys. I have a couple favorite reviews. This might be my very favorite. I don't know. That's hard to say.
Awesome.
I will say of the longer reviews I've gotten, this one is because some of them are short and they're sweet and they just get to it. And this one is like a little longer. And so let me find this here for you. Reviews. I mean, it's hard to. There's so many 5-star ones. Whew. By the way, please leave a review on the book too. If you guys have gotten it and read it, or even if you haven't read it, just go leave a 5-star review on Amazon or Goodreads or Barnes & Noble, wherever you prefer to do that. This one is from Catherine. Ready?
Yep.
Reading this was an absolute delight. She's done reviews before, too, so this isn't her first one. She did this on your birthday. It was like a present to you. And not only because I've met Dustin and went in with high hopes, trust me, if I didn't like it, I wouldn't put that much thought into reviewing it. With most comedic memoirs, I go in expecting a lot of story, humor, and some practical advice. As a therapist, some of this advice feels helpful, and some of it feels cringy. Not one time reading this did I feel like Dustin was telling anyone what to do in any way that could be harmful to them in their relationships. From the very beginning, in the title no less, he makes it clear that this is his story. Yes, there are things to be learned, but the way they do things is not necessarily going to work for anyone or everyone else, and that's okay. That's not to say I never cringed. These stories are real life, folks, and the bit about faith brought up some unpleasant memories for me, and still, it wasn't preachy for even a second. Everything Dustin was saying about the importance of respect and communication around faith and relationships was spot on. I laughed when I was surprised and delighted by a unique story. I groaned when I understood the discomfort of marriage and finances, and I said out loud in my car, absolutely, thank you, when I felt validated and how I responded to the kids when I'm beyond frustrated with them. I especially appreciated the bits of feedback from Melissa throughout the book. It's not common that you read a book about relationships and literally get both sides of the story. It was clear that Melissa was a participant in the creation of this book, just as she's an active participant in their relationship, and it is so clear how much Dustin truly loves her. I'm tempted to post some of the quotes that I particularly appreciate, but I want to encourage you instead to read it for yourself. Pick out the bits that are most meaningful to you and enjoy the roller coaster of hilarity and validation along the way. 10 out of 10, therapist approved. Boom!
That's a great review. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Catherine. We really appreciate that. So, okay, any other business? We had reviews, podcast reviews. Always give them. We appreciate those.
We almost have our Patreon Zoom.
That's coming up this Sunday?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. 4 days from now.
On
live from Nashville.
July 24th at 4 Pacific time.
From downtown Nashville.
Oh, woo. So if you want to be at our Zoom hang, you got to be a $10 and up patron.
Yeah. Patreon's the way you can get a little more of the podcast and get a little more podcast. And you guys know about something special that I still have not told you guys. I haven't even told the podcast people.
All right.
I will promise that it's going to go in this order. All right. I will not promise when I announce this. Here's the deal. Okay. I announce it to the patrons first. I will give it to the backseater second. And then I'll give it to social media third. But I will say, if you're like, now you're a backseater, it's like, well, I should wait to be a patron then. You shouldn't, because that means that the episode releases and I'll immediately announce it on social media. So also, it may or may not affect you. This is a bad sell. Just
okay.
If you want to,
this might be in a subscriber email too.
If you want, oh, here we go with that email list. Mel takes up the newsletter. Is doing a fine job, by the way. He's crushing it. It's really, really good. But she will just rub that in my face all the time. She's like, I'm out here selling these tickets. Dustin. This newsletter sold 600 tickets in Chicago. And I'm like,
it's not a competition.
No. Walk Up sold that. Oh, there's comedy tonight? Yeah, I'll pay $20. Thank you. Actually, those downtown tickets were like $30.
Nice.
Thank you, people.
Yeah.
Thank you. So we have not talked about
inflation. I'm kidding.
Melissa with the hot topics over here.
Yeah.
We have not talked about the Fully Loaded comedy tour because we took a break and we're like, hey, we need to discuss it in one of these two. You guys may be listening to this for the first time because you discovered me from the Fully Loaded tour, or showed up late, or you didn't catch my name. Actually, some people in Chicago, I texted Bert this. Some people were there was actually a good chunk of people from Chicago because South Bend, Indiana, where Notre Dame is, we did one of the shows, not at Notre Dame, but in South Bend. And that's 2 hours from Chicago. So there were a good chunk of people from Chicago that drove to South Bend and then they came to our shows.
Wow.
Amazing. And such a shift to see us in a stadium and then a former strip club that seats 140 people. Amazing how many former strip clubs, at least 2 that I know of. Giggles/Jiggles, and then this one here, Zanies / Ladies. I don't know what it's called.
Zany Ladies.
It was great, and I texted Bert that, and Bert is so sweet and so generous and so kind, and I was like, I just want to let you know that you know I had people come out from that, and he goes, that just made my day, and I go, oh no, I mean it really made my day. Because you're helping me move some tickets.
Awesome.
The Fully Loaded comedy tour where we did South Bend, Dayton, Rochester, and Louisville, which is amazing that I remembered those. But I remember them because I'm basing them on their minor league stadium / arena that we did. And it was the craziest weekend of comedy I have ever done. By far, bar none. Nothing like it. I mean, it is a
festival.
It's a festival.
Yeah.
But it's we're a circus is what we are.
Yeah.
We're a traveling
Comedy
circus. And we just get in the tent and we go to the next venue each day. And it was incredible. I mean, every show was different, and it was different than anything else I've ever done. You're performing outside. For 3 of the 4, we performed outside in literally minor league stadiums. It's crazy. The sun's going down now. It was funny because the show was kind of broken down into 2 halves almost, because Dave Williamson hosted and was the real hero of the tour. To go up the biggest bullet bitten in the history of biting bullets. He went up and rallied all the troops after the DJ, Carter Cruz, who was great. It really did break down to there was 2 shows, and that was one of the funny kind of ongoing gags, is that there was the daytime show and the nighttime show. And of course, it was better when the sun went down, of course. But the first show, it started by Dave. Dave Williamson hosted, and then Aaron Weber went up, and then I went up, and then Taylor Tomlinson went up, except for the last night. Taylor wasn't there, and Fortune was there, Fortune Feimster. And then there'd be an intermission where all the merch and beer and
30 minutes,
the history, I don't know how long, ever was bought, and they would come back, and then Dave would bring them back, and then it went the first night, Sal from Impractical Jokers, and then he tag teamed out, and then it was Dave Attell, maybe the greatest comedian of ever. Most comedians go Attell is the best. Big J. Okerson, Shane Gillis, and Bert Kreischer. Now, I know some of you guys might like that I'm a clean comic. And you're like, that's what I appreciate about you. And that's great. Hey, thank you. I don't think of clean comedy as some higher form of what we do. I don't do it for necessarily any moral reason. I do it because because it's kind of true to who I am.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also, I love making comedy that families can watch together. That's what I want to do. I love stand-up comedy. I love stand-up comedy as a kid. I'll always love stand-up comedy. And I want to do something that people can watch with their kids. I think that's a fun thing. And not all comedy has to be that, but I'm happy that mine can be that for them. So don't be surprised if you go watch Big J and Dave and Shane and they're not super clean. But man, was that show just insane. And
it sounds amazing.
And I'm telling you, okay, I'll give you one day of what it was like to be on tour of the Fully Loaded Festival. Okay, so we wake up Sunday morning.
That's Father's Day.
Father's Day.
Yeah.
We wake up Sunday morning, Father's Day, in Dayton, Ohio. And we immediately go, there's like 15 of us to go take a private jet. Which I'm not bragging about this. I'm not trying to flex. I'm just trying to bring you into this experience of what it was like on this tour. 15 of us do like a 1-hour flight to Rochester, which is not how far that is. That is a much further flight to go. People are drinking and people are loose, and I'm just in the sky with some of the greatest comedians of all time, and it's surreal, and we're just chatting, and there's like agents and reps and and we land, and it's amazing. It's this private jet had a flight attendant, which is crazy. I'm like,
it's a big jet.
You guys have to understand, I'm happy with an exit row. That's where I'm at right now on a luxury level.
Yeah.
I don't. If I get a first class upgrade, I'm to the moon and back. You know.
Right.
And so this is beyond what I've ever even, to the point that I don't even go like, this is the most experience in real life. I'm like, this is crazy. It's what's happening. We walk off and you feel like you're the president or freaking
Air Force One,
Jay-Z, because you walk out and there's like 5 Escalades there.
Wow.
Just all lined up, taking your bags, you know, doing the stuff. It's unbelievable. And then they take us to the ballpark where there is immediately a catered meal. And then we go do yoga. For some reason, we're all doing yoga then. And before that, I was like, oh, we should do a little warm up, huh? Little, they're called foul poles. You just run the track, the outside there, the warning track, foul pole to foul pole. And then I was like, we should do a little warm, do a little jog. And then in classic Bert fashion, he's like, well, let's sprint back. Let's have a race. Oh, it wasn't a sprint. By the way, I can't even believe I'm forgetting this. The night before in Dayton, we do the show, and then one way or another, people know, and it's kind of leaked, which bar Bert's going to go to. Bert is one of the biggest comedians in the world, known for drinking, known for being a party guy. He's with Dave Attell, who had a show in the 90s on Comedy Central called Insomniac, where he just went late night to bars, and they show up at this bar, and it's the Beatles. They're the Beatles of dive bars. That's who Bert is. And they're losing their minds. And then they're back at the bus, and the drinking and the hanging and the cigar and everything. And then you wake up, and then you go, and it's insane. It's one of the wildest, crazy, and it's just non-stop. All the guys machine. And so we do the yoga and everything. And then everyone kind of rests for a little bit before showtime. Aaron and I are taking, we're playing catch in the field on a minor league baseball. I take a nap in the outfield of a minor league baseball stadium. We do the shows. The shows are crazy. And then some of the players show up, and we take BP on the field with the players afterwards.
I didn't even know you did that.
Yeah.
Wow, how fun.
I didn't do it. Okay. No. We all marveled as Bert did it, because Bert was actually pretty good. I mean, but we're like fielding the balls. It's insane. I mean, that's one day. That is what I just described to you was 24 hours.
That's so much.
And that's when people ask, like, what was it like? I keep saying the same thing. It was the craziest, the most fun, wildest thing I've ever done in comedy, and I was so glad it was over. Hey, Melissa.
What?
You know, we do this thing on the podcast sometimes where we like surprise people with the ad drop. Oh my gosh, that seamless segue. How did they come up with it? And you know what? Sometimes we forget to do it. And sometimes that means we record it after and we put it right here. And ladies and gentlemen, that's what we're doing today, right now, for Munchie Mug.
Munchie Mug.
Munchie Mug is one of our favorite sponsors in the history of the podcast because we love the product so much. All right. What Munchie Mug is, it is the #1 premium no spill snack cup. It's a fantastic product. Whatever you have in your life that you don't want spilled, this is what you want. Popcorn, not for babies. Goldfish,
Puffs are good for babies.
Puffs are a big one.
And they're a mess.
Captain Crunch. Oops, all berries, Captain Crunch. Peanut butter Captain Crunch.
You can't give babies all this sugar. What about sliced grapes?
Sliced grapes.
Blueberries.
Bloobs. Get the bloobs. It's the tiniest little apple chunks. They don't got teeth. I haven't had a baby in a long time.
But some toddlers can eat
some toddlers can eat apple slices.
Yeah.
This is a great product for you guys. It's made right here in the USA, and they got that soft, stretchy lid. It's like a sensory experience that I like. It's like magic. I love it so much. It's very durable.
It's also a fidget toy.
Safe. It's a fidget toy if you need that. I don't know if they'll accept that, but you can try it. 11 colors, including gray, black, and white for that boring kid in your life. Printed jars, do blank jars, you get some stickers, customize it, whatever you want. And you know what? All you have to do is you go to munchiemug.com and you use promo code Don't Make Me. That's all one word, Don't Make Me, no apostrophe, for 25% off and free shipping on your order. That's munchiemug.com. Munchie Mug.
Making your life less messy. You got home and we threw a pizza party because we got this pizza oven. And
I did joke that I came home and did the most wholesome thing. I wasn't some degenerate out there, guys. I'm a Christian. Respect, all right? I'm a Christian who can shotgun a beer, all right? I'm a Christian who was raised redneck, and I've got some of it in me. And if I need to be a little bit of a chameleon at times, listen, you guys, the Bud Lights go down so easy. It's not even that hard. But I got home and immediately did the most wholesome thing in the world, which was host a pizza party.
Yeah.
For our friends that are moving.
Yeah. So you did that, but then Bert was like filming a cooking show at his house.
Immediately.
On Monday.
Oh, and then you know what he did the next weekend? 4 more of those shows.
Yeah. So
4 more of those shows.
Yeah.
Bert Kreischer is...
He works
I don't know
hard.
anybody that works harder. I don't know anybody in comedy more generous and kind and supportive and accepting. I don't know him super well other than our little interactions that we've had. And I go like, if I would have done both weekends, I would have died. I wouldn't have made it. I would have not. I couldn't have. I actually am good friends with a comic who opens for him. And he told me once, he's like, oh, if I go out with Bert and we leave on like Friday, he goes like, I start resting on Monday.
Oh
like
my
I
gosh.
have to get ready.
Wow. So intense. So intense. Amazing. You FaceTimed me right before yoga.
Yeah.
Bert was very nice, said thanks and all that.
He was very nice to you.
Yep.
And then he was, and he made the joke like, this is the best Father's Day gift I ever given you. And I don't know how much
well, he said that about the private jet.
Yeah. It was very fun.
But
they're
anyway.
making the joke. This is an ongoing thing that they're talking about, like on Rogan and stuff too. Is that Bert Kreischer is the Mickey Mantle gene, which you're not familiar with. This Urban Dictionary is a gene that allows bloated, out of shape men to be able to drink alcohol in excess on a daily basis while still being able to jog and exercise and stuff. And I do think there's an amount of that. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy just goes so hard. But he also Bert works out a lot. Bert, he does
a lot of stuff.
You know what he does? You know what he reminds me of?
Ice bath.
Who do you think he reminds me of?
Butch. I was gonna say Jimmy.
Which is the same thing.
Yeah.
No, I do feel when I'm with Bert that I'm like, oh, this was Butch in his prime.
This is familiar.
This is very familiar too. Life of the party, super engaging,
gregarious,
very gregarious. You wanna just kind of men wanna be him, wanna be with him, that kind of thing.
And Butch was so loud,
and you couldn't
command a room.
Yeah, and you just couldn't believe how many things they're good at and how nimble they were for their size and their lifestyle. And fun. And Bert is a million times healthier than Butch was, but it is very familiar.
Yeah, I totally can see that.
All right, Pete Butch, I miss you. I got a little heartfelt there for a second. I know that doesn't have a lot to do with family, but you guys, how can I not talk to you about that?
I think everybody wants to hear about that tour because it was really cool.
It was insane.
Backseaters fans, you guys had to move around a lot of dates to make that tour happen. So
now,
thank you.
Let me dive into the most domesticated stuff we can do after that. So I get home on Father's Day. Or the day after Father's Day.
Yeah.
We throw a little pizza party. And listen, Melissa and we're not, I'm dumb. You are very smart, but we are both naive to the things of like home stuff in a lot of way. Our home history, you know this if you read our book.
Well, yeah, we're not
owners. We owned a home for like 2 years and lost it immediately.
We were 21.
We got into the market at the right time.
If you are familiar with 2007, that's when we bought a house.
Exactly. It's so stupid.
21.
So we don't know, and it was new.
Yeah.
We
have no remodel experience. One time we spray painted a chandelier together, and that was it.
Oh, I totally forgot about that.
We don't have weekends.
Yeah.
And we don't do home improvements.
Oh, it's so funny. So we, as we mentioned last time, our landlord, we're like, hey, floors time. And he goes, deal. Great. Only took a decade. We got these new floors. And we got new floors in every room in the entire house.
Yeah.
Every room.
So there was
our room setup. We have a back room that is the girls' room, is a bigger room. We have a middle room. We have we have 3 beds. We have 1 bath. We have 3 bedrooms, a back room, kind of like a rec room, a bath, a living room that bleeds into a kitchen that bleeds into a dining room. It's not a small house. Not a gigantic house, but it's not a small house.
No, and we've been taking quotes all year. Nobody wanted to floor this home. At a price point.
In this house is getting floored, meaning you have to take everything out of your house.
Yeah, well, so that was the issue was we found the right flooring company that for the price, and they wouldn't call me back. So I kept calling them like, hey, I know you're coming out on Tuesday, and I made them not start Monday because of the pizza party.
Right.
And you got to start Tuesday, and let's talk about game plan.
Right.
And they're all like, so Monday they show up Monday night before the pizza party, and they're like, we'll work around you. Yeah, we're going to start in the back. And then 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, the 3 movers show up and proceed to move all of our personal belongings in this home
and
outside.
Reality kicks us in the groin of, I guess we could sleep here at night, but we can't be here during the day. And if
they left our mattresses in a pile. That was it.
That was it. And
we hadn't packed suitcases.
Yeah. Well, also, that day, I had so much promo stuff going on. I was like, I need a quiet room and internet.
And we had swim lessons, canoeing for Gloria, and sophomore year orientation and picture day for Joel,
all to get ready
and wrestling
for a trip to LA that weekend for the concert that we were going to and to see some friends up there, which we had already kind of planned. Like, okay, well, we'll give the movers a little space that time.
Yeah. So while I was at the orientation for Joel, you checked us into a hotel with Claire.
Right.
Claire woke up sick that morning and was crying.
Let me.
The teens were really excited at 7 a.m. to move everything outside.
Oh my God!
On summer break.
I'm gonna bury the lead here a little bit. We checked into a hotel Tuesday morning. We would not spend a night in our home until Sunday night, and we would not spend a night in our rooms till the following night, and we would not spend a night in our rooms that were actually put together beds until the following night. So we were displaced for a week.
I just finished unpacking.
Which even that was a miracle.
Yesterday.
Shout out to our friend Laura who watched our kid while I was gone, and Mel was able to unpack the last of the remains because
I just had 10 boxes left.
I don't know if this is relatable to anybody else. This is the point that I got to on, like, we had taken everything out of the house, and when it was time to bring back stuff in, I was really getting into, do we need this mode?
Yeah.
Like,
and
I threw away a lot of stuff.
I didn't have the bandwidth to get there because the whole house was covered in dust.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay. So let's
not get ahead of ourselves. Claire's in a king bed with us, coughing on us.
Right.
All week.
Right.
We lost her blanket, her baby blanket.
We all got coughed
in one of the hotel transfers.
We all got coughed on for the better part of 4 or 5 days. Just at each other. It went around. Just the hits keep coming.
Yeah, we didn't have a door on our hotel bathroom. It was one of those like rolling glass doors.
Yeah.
So that was an issue.
You needed a little more
couldn't
privacy.
Even lock the door.
Every hotel, I take this as someone who lives in hotels professionally. They all have a tipping point. It's usually around day 3 or 4 where you're like, good.
There's like only so many snacks.
Right.
Went to Starbucks so many times.
You need a reset. That being said, we are going to do 7 days in Vegas. Vegas feels different a little bit because you're just like
that. This felt like a vacation that we hadn't planned.
Yeah.
We hadn't planned to pay for it, and we hadn't you brought a laundry basket of your clothing.
We were hemorrhaging money too. That was the hard thing.
And you had all this work.
Oh my gosh.
And you were doing Zooms in lobbies, and we were taking calls outside the hotel.
I did show in LA.
It was too hot to go in the car.
At the Comedy Store.
To do Zooms in the car. It's too hot.
We were like, we have to get healthy for this concert. We've been banking because the Brandy Carlisle show was your birthday present.
And we had booked it like 8 months out.
As my sales can attest to, people are booking late on tickets right now. Real late. But you snooze, you lose. And then we get into the house and it's so hard. It's expensive. And then you get into the house and it's just covered in dust. And this is one of those things that you don't know until you go through it, that you're like, oh my gosh, this is the full extent of my flooring experience. You know where I'm going here? This is alluded to in the book. One Christmas, your dad decided to retile the kitchen and kind of the
just
entry.
Kind of the whole downstairs, essentially.
Right. But not the living room because that was carpet not the side room. So kind of the entryway. And your dad, being the guy that he is, was like, well, I'll just do this myself and I'll go get the thing and the tile and all that kind of stuff. And
he bought and sold the tile saw on eBay.
Yeah, it's all checks out for who your dad
with
is.
A specialized box he made to ship it in.
Hilarious. That all is so on brand and probably saved him so much money. I totally get it.
Yeah.
But that was this was like...
It ran over time, and that's what we spent Christmas doing.
Yeah, this was 3 to 4 professionals showing up, demoing. I don't remember doing any demo with your dad.
No, he was tiling when we got there.
Right. So there was probably demo that was done before us.
All the prep work had been done.
And so there was just dust everywhere, and that hit you really hard, which ended up being a bit of a blessing because it made us so feverishly, because I was like, I need our life to get back to normal. I was sneezing
like crazy, and I had to teach art classes that week.
This is all you need.
Yeah, it was insane.
If you were wondering how motivated I was to get my life back to normal, and that's because I stay in hotels constantly, and I was like, I cannot have a Chick-fil-A breakfast again. I can't. It is amazing though. Chick-fil-A breakfast is so underrated.
They have that grilled sandwich with an egg on it. Chicken sandwich with an egg on it. It is so good. It's like $70.
Yeah, it's so expensive. Chick-fil-A is way overpriced. But at one point, some blinds fell, and I'm the least handy human in the history of humans.
Yeah, they were knocking stuff around.
I reinstalled the blinds.
I know.
I figured out how to do that on my own. Because I was like, I need this house. And then I vacuumed the blinds.
Yes.
I've barely used the vacuum, period.
I know. That attachment just broke, too.
That's probably has to do with me.
Yeah, it's fine.
I vacuumed every blind in this house because this is like, we have to get this life back to normal.
And I didn't even blink because the kitchen was just layers of dust.
Layers and layers. What we learned about dust is it can really layer there because you do the spray situation,
or even just you straight wash it and then it's still dusty.
Yeah, it's still there, huh?
Yeah,
still there.
So it was insane. I was wearing a mask and cleaning, as were you.
You guys, she was being so dramatic. You don't realize this because I looked away from her. So dramatic about it. Oh, and then we had a 4th of July party, and I thought I had a near infection, and I was so dramatic about it. I got some inner ear stuff.
You do.
I really.
It goes with your seasickness.
Yeah.
And your car sickness, and boat, little plane.
It's getting worse with age. So when we were in Chicago, this is a thing that's happening now. This is a good environment.
Yeah,
so in Chicago,
Dizzy.
we went and we saw the Bean.
Uh-huh.
The Bean is the coolest piece of city architecture I've ever seen. Totally lived up to the hype.
That's awesome.
All I do is go to cities and see the stuff. And you see the love sign and it's cool. And you see the buildings and it's cool. The Bean totally lived up to the hype to me. And it's just what it is. It's the reflections in it that are stunning. So you can go under the Bean and you can kind of like look up. And kind of like it's pretty tall. It's a couple stories tall. And you look up. And it's kind of like almost like when you would go into a cathedral and look up, right? And you're looking directly straight up, and you can kind of see yourself, and it's directly above you. That made me motion sick. Looking directly up at something. Like what I'm doing right now, looking up, gives me the spins a little bit.
And that was you on the Harry Potter ride.
Oh, the worst
Universal Studios.
Worst 3 minutes of my life. I can't. I'm close to being done with roller coasters. I can't. I mean, I've never been able to do a spinny ride, but I'm like constantly. It's getting worse. I got the vertigo. Remember that? Remember? Remember a couple weeks ago, I told you I woke up and I felt off balance. I was falling into the wall.
Yeah.
I just was like, am I drunk? Did I get drunk without drinking? That's like a magic trick.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. Anyway. So that being said, you guys, the floors look great. And I came home from this weekend's trip from Chicago, and I walked in, and I was like, it looks really good in here. I forgot we had gotten new floors.
We always we don't have the worst furniture.
Right.
We have some unique pieces and artwork and home things, and then we didn't realize how much better everything was going to look with different flooring.
Yeah, if you want to change your house, flooring and painting, that's it. As far as like, oh my gosh, this is like a new place here. So, all right, we have talked too long about floors. We have got to get to a couple emails.
Okay,
and one
let's
right here that dives into what we're doing here.
Prep.
All right, this is from Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
Subject says Mel's trip prep.
Oh boy.
Hi, Dustin and Mel. Thanks for the hilarious podcast episodes. I love hearing the episodes about Mel's trip prep and planning. And I want to share that my mom had a similar process. All right, so just guys, so you guys know, tomorrow in our universe here, today is July 10th where we are.
Yeah.
We leave tomorrow, July 11th, and we will return exactly 2 weeks from now. We will be gone for 2 weeks. Tomorrow we drive to this will be helpful for you to see. Tomorrow, you probably already know. Yeah. Tomorrow we drive to Monterey, and then we're in Monterey for another day. So 2 days in Monterey, but we send Joel off to camp.
Tomorrow.
So we divvy up tomorrow. And then we're in San Francisco on the 13th. And then we go from San Francisco to Alabama. That will be the worst day of the trip, FYI.
Yes.
The very worst day of this trip is this Thursday, July 14th, when we get up our flight leaves at 5. Ugh. So we're getting up at like 3. No, we're getting up at like 2. We're not even getting up. We're staying. Yeah. And then it's going to be a terrible day. But there's just no easy way to get from NorCal to Huntsville. So we fly to Alabama, where I do shows in Huntsville Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Saturday, Joel meets us in Huntsville. He's taking his first solo flight, really his first 2 solo flights, which this trip in Chicago is great because I could walk him through a little bit of that. And then on the 17th, we drive to Nauvoo, Alabama, to a camp. We're going to be at Hope Heals, which we are so excited to work with Hope Heals people. Jay and Catherine Wolf are amazing, and we're excited to be a part of that camp. I do a show there, and Melissa's teaching art, and the kids are working. It's fantastic. We are there through Friday, where we then drive to Nashville. We're there for 3 nights, do the show on the 23rd, and then we fly home on the 25th. So, and by the way, and then I fly out again on Thursday. But let's not get ahead of ourselves here.
Then I fly out.
We leave for 2 weeks tomorrow, and we do have a lot of prep. Though we did joke that flying prep is easier than road trip prep because you can only bring so much.
Yeah, you're limited.
But we're really, like, I told this to Gloria, I was like, you bring camp shoes, Nickerson. Like, I know we're going to Monterey and SF, but really what you're doing is you're going to a camp for a week. 5 days of this, you're going to be at a camp. So
the shoes, that's the hardest part with flying.
Yeah.
Is really dialing it down to 2 shoes.
I've been in a shoe debacle trying to figure out my travel shoe for a while now. So anyways, here we go. Growing up, My mom and dad would attend my dad's work conference out of town each year. He worked in finance. And my aunt and grandmas would stay over and watch all 4 of us kids. For each trip, my mom prepared a notebook. Oh my gosh, this is your gal right here. With a schedule for each day and every little detail from what time each kid woke up to our after-school activities to a list of dinner options in the freezer. This is adorable. I still remember the page of instructions on my piano lessons with a check for the piano teacher taped to the page. This is the best thing I've ever heard.
Wow.
I've had such fond memories of those times, coming down to breakfast and seeing my aunt and grandmas drinking coffee as they diligently studied the schedule for the day. That's what my dad and whoever watched, they're like, it's pretty easy. We just stayed on schedule. We just Mel laid it out pretty. It's almost like you're still watching them. Now, to fit in a quick ER story, the trips all went smoothly except one memorable evening.
Uh-oh.
My parents had been gone for a few days, and we were all sitting at dinner when we kept hearing a beeping noise in the house. After a great deal of investigation, we realized the beeping was coming from Grandpa. It was his grandma. It was her pacemaker beeping, and we had to take a quick trip to the doctor to get that addressed, and it was luckily all fine. Thanks for all the laughs, Jessica. Wow.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah.
I'm so glad Grandma was okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do 2 more questions here. This one is from Jody.
Okay.
Jody, subject made-up games. Can you share on the pod your best made-up games and how to play them? I love a good made-up game. Jody, I could write a book of these things.
Jody, it's in the book.
Do we? Oh, we do. We don't do the rules, though.
So Dustin has a whole page of the game names.
Oh, yeah.
Of the games he's made up
That's
for
true.
the trampoline.
What I'll do, Jody, is I will tell you the 2 games that me and Claire, because they have taken after me, made up today. Today, Claire and I had about a 45-minute window to kill, and before I could take a nap after my trip, and we made 2 bed-based games. She named these ones. One was called Keep 'em on the Bed, and the other was called Kick Fat Cat Off the Bed. And they're pretty straightforward, but they do have somewhat elaborate rules. Keep 'em on the Bed was, there's one person on the bed, and then there's another person who it's their job to keep them on the bed. They can't hold them. They can't grab them. They can only kind of like use their arms kind of like to shuffle them in a certain direction. And like I said, they can't be on the bed. So they have to run around the bed to try and kind of almost be like ropes and barriers to keep them on there. And then once somebody goes off, then the other person switches. Now, when I'm on the bed, of course I could get off easily, but I stretch it out as a character. This is how we led into the second new game, is I became a fat cat that moved very slowly. And it just became more of a joke that I would like be leaning off and she would hold me up. It's like, Dad, I can't hold you. And then I would do little fake moves in different directions. And then Claire goes, I want to be a fat cat. And I was like, well, let's play a fat cat game. And then we both became fat cats who are trying to get the other fat cat off the bed. And all you need to know about these games is Claire is furious when they're over. She is so mad at me when they're over because you got home.
I saw the end of Fat Cats.
End of Fat Cat actually had a big triumph. I like to put on a show for you when you get here because I actually do think you undervalue how good I am at playing with your kids. I don't get a lot of thank yous for it. You don't seem very appreciative at all.
This is in the book.
But I'm glad Jody is. I didn't read your parts of the book. But the
Jody would be more grateful.
I did kind of like hang off, and it was a whole thing. And then, I was out, and then Claire goes like, "You're just trying to lose because Mom's home," and she was right. She was 100% right.
She called you out.
All the games I play, they all have a point where I'm very much done.
Sure,
as it should be. So,
yep. Thanks for writing in, Jody.
Dang it.
What?
We forgot to do the pod ad. Anyways, thank you for the email, Jody. Appreciate it so much. And everybody, if you want to shoot emails, shoot us at dontmakemecomebackthere@gmail.com. No. Dang it, Steven. This is a weird ending. Anyways, thank you for the email, Jody. Really appreciate it. If you guys ever want to send emails to the podcast, just shoot them to dontmakemecomebackthere@gmail.com. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see you soon. Bye.
Hey, folks, want to give a special shout out to our Essential as Oils patrons. That's our $25 a month and up tier. That list is Averill Griffiths, Jessica Sewell, Rachel Kennedy, Code to Grow, Dave Hoagland, Demarius Diaz-Stevens, Nicole Carraz, Tiffany Payne, Farrah Journey, David and Melissa Cox, Isaac Tarrin, Lori Amos, Carrie Teague, The Forgotten Friend Reptile Sanctuary, Jordan Cowan, Courtney Eibling, Juliana Smith, Bonnie Galliando, and Jennifer Ashley Downs. Thank you guys so much for what you give to the pod.